there. Hi, my name is Keera, and before we get started, I do want to mention that this video is a collab video, but before I get into that, I do want to say I am so sorry that I didn't post last week. If you didn't know, I am in university, which means I have a lot of schoolwork to do, and currently I'm studying for a few midterms, which a lot of work. So if I don't post on a Tuesday or anything, like I'll either post another day that week or I'll just wait till the next week. Hey, and before we get into the stories, you know what you should do? You should hit the subscribe button. Come join. If you like spooky content and if you want to see more of my content or even me or even future collabs or videos I do, make sure to hit the subscribe button and even hit the bell. But anyway, let's get into our collab for today. So today I am doing a collab with NSC CAMPOS. He has a whole bunch of interesting stuff on his YouTube channel, like top 10s, or one of my personal favorites, which is he goes to the Hollywood sign and does some ghost hunting. And today we have decided to do a urban legend kind of style video. So here on my channel, we're going to be doing top 5 urban legends in Canada. And on his channel, he's going to be doing top scariest Hispanic urban legends. So I will link his thing down below, and you make sure you go and you look at his channel and you subscribe, because I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. But let's move on because I don't want to take up any more of your time. Let's get into our top 5 Canadian urban legends. To start off our list, I'm going to do a really well-known one, and that is the Windigo. Wendigos are very popular in pop culture, in video games like Until Dawn, or even TV shows like Supernatural. They are something that sparks fear. A Windigo is a mythological creature or evil spirit from folklore of the First Nations tribes based in the North Forests of Nova Scotia, the east coast of Canada, and the Great Lake region of Canada. The Windigo is described as a monster with some characteristics of a human, or as a spirit who has possessed a human being and made them become monstrous. Its influence is said to invoke acts of murder, unstable greed, cannibalism, and the cultural taboos against such behaviors. The most famous case of a Windigo encounter took place in 1879 in the deep woods outside of Edmonton, Alberta. A Cree Indian who was a trapper and a guide. He had left town the previous autumn with his wife, 6 children, and his mother. But when he returned in spring, he was alone. Swift Runner came into a nearby village, telling a heartbreaking story of his family being killed by starvation during their long winter, and said that he was the only survivor. And it wasn't uncommon for a family to fall victim to a rough winter, but something was wrong with his story. People question it because he was a very well-kept man when he came into the small village. He was 200 pounds or over and didn't look like he was weathered by a terrible winter of starvation. He wasn't malnourished, and he looked healthier than he ever had before. Almost every night after he came back, he would constantly have sleep terrors and scream in his sleep. People were worried and startled by this, so they decided to contact the police. Swift Runner guided the police to his cabin without any hesitation. But when they got there, they discovered the true horror that laid in front of them. Human skulls laid all around the room, and many bones. The many bones were snapped in half, and the bone marrow that should have been inside them were all drained out. And the police had never seen anything like it. Swift Runner had killed all of his family during the winter and ate their bodies. He was sentenced to be hung, and until that rope was around his neck, he swore that the evil spirits of the Windigo made him do it, and that they possessed him, twisted him into a cannibalistic killer. His last words were, "I'm no longer a man." The next one on our list is Crusty. Crusty is a mysterious eel-like creature that lurks in the waters of Crescent Lake in Newfoundland and Labrador. It originated back to a native Canadian legend that refers to this thing as a pond demon or the swimming devil. European settlers, when they showed up, also have their own experiences and encounters with this creature. And those encounters date back all the way to the early 20th century. Since then, there have been thousands to dozens of encounters with Crusty. Some people say Crusty could even be up to 15 feet long. But, which I don't know about you, but if I was swimming in any body of water, if there was something that was that big swimming, I don't think I'd ever set foot in a lake or water ever again. Next on our list, we have Rose la Tulipe. This is a French-Canadian urban legend, and I do have to say there are a million variations to this story, but they all have the same outcome, and this is the one that I have heard the most. Rose la Tulipe was a young girl who loved to dance, but on the night of Mardi Gras, a stranger came to her house out of nowhere and asked her to dance until midnight. And she agreed, and by that point she had discovered that the man who asked her to dance was actually the devil. She tried to escape, but unfortunately now the devil had a hold of her and took her back to hell with him. People say that to this day that she is still dancing with him in hell and dancing with him at his will and not hers. Fourth on our list, we have The Lady in Red. The Lady in Red is a commonly told or heard of story in Canada. In Toronto, in the Below Base Station, which was opened by the Toronto Transit Commission in 1966, but it was shut down 6 months later due to trains backing up and causing more problems than there should have been. The city later on went on to build Base Station on top of the old Base Station and connected the two platforms together by a red door that was only accessible to employees. And it is here people report seeing a lady in red walking the empty tracks. People have said that she has no legs and black holes where her eyes should be. And they also say that she's only there for a few seconds and then disappears right before their eyes. Some people believe it could be a woman who was pushed or fell onto the tracks and died, but they do not have any record of it. So that leaves the question, where did the lady in red come from?
For number one, we have to go with Liona. She was a beautiful woman named Maria that lived in the village. The most beautiful woman in the entire region. A handsome man came into the village. He had so much money, and all the women wanted him. He only had eyes on one woman, Maria. So they got married. They had 2 children. He was a businessman, so he was always going on trips. While the husband would go on his travels, he would actually go meet other women. Every time he left, the longer it would take for him to come back. And it seemed that he had no love for Maria anymore because she became old. One day, she was walking with her children in the plaza and saw her husband with another woman. The husband paid no attention to Maria. He only came to say hi to his children and went on his way. Maria was so disheveled and so angry at this that she grabbed her children and threw them into the river. Couldn't believe that she threw her own children into the river. She decided to throw herself in to save them, but she sadly drowned. A curse was placed on her for committing such a sin. She became Liona. She was forced to walk the earth looking for her children. The tale of Liona is used by parents to scare their children to not going out at dark. If children go outside during the night and start playing by the rivers, Liona will approach them and try to take them as her own. The tale of El Salbon comes from Peru and Venezuela. El Salbon was a very spoiled child. His parents could never say no to him. One day, he went out hunting with his father. The child asked his father to go and fetch him the innards of a deer, the deer's organs to eat. The father said yes. He went out with his hunting knife and tried to look for a deer. After many hours, he couldn't find one. Because he didn't come back with anything, the boy grabbed the knife and cut open the father and took the organs home. He brought the organs to his mother and asked her to cook them. She asked where they come from. He replied, from father. The grandfather overheard, grabbed the child, strapped him against a tree, and whipped him for many hours. After whipping him, he grabbed lemon juice and peppers and rubbed it into the wounds so they could sting. The grandfather grabbed the remains of the dad, put him in a bag, and placed it over the child's back. He told him to run and then stitched the dogs on him. Since the boy was too weak from his wounds and couldn't carry the body, he died, being eaten alive by the animals. The grandfather cursed him to be El Sabon, the whistling man. For all of eternity, he has to roam the streets carrying the remains of his father. However, since El Sabon is a very greedy man, he likes to collect the bones of his other victims. Being a victim of El Sabon is very complicated. He goes into the homes of the villages, he goes into their rooms and counts his bones. If you are asleep while he's doing this, he'll add your bones to his collection. Beware the whistling man, El Sabon.
And last on our list, we have the tunnel monster of Cabot Town. In August 1978, a man named Ernest had a very strange encounter with a creature in Toronto. He and his wife had kittens at the time, and when one of the kittens escaped, he decided to go look for it. Not long after, out searching, he stumbled into a nearby cave and saw a creature. And in Ernest's own words, he said, "A living nightmare I'll never forget." Ernest described this monster as long and thin, almost like a monkey, approximately 3 to 4 feet long, extremely large teeth with gray fur, and large orange and red eyes that were slanted. Before he could process and react what was standing in front of him, the creature said in a hissing voice, "Go away, go away," then ran deeper into the dark cave. Ernest ran out of the cave, never intending to tell media about it because he just assumed everybody would think he was crazy or that he was drunk. But eventually the story did get out and he decided to talk to the media about it, as long as he didn't have to give or tell everybody his last name. And many other people have had experiences with this monster. And let me know if you live in Toronto, if you've gone into a cave, if you've gone into a cave and you've seen this thing, let me know. But that concludes our top 5 Canadian urban legends. If you'd like another top 5 video of urban legends or even a specific place like Russia or Mexico, comment down below. But make sure to go check out NSC CAMPOS YouTube channel, or I'll leave it down in the description. But please go check it out. Give them a subscribe if you want to. But that concludes today's video. Again, make sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe. Have a good morning, evening, or night, depending when you're watching this. And remember, if you live in Canada, be careful. You might turn the corner and see something you can't explain. Okay, bye guys!